Okay, this is not a ride sharing video. I repeat, this is not a ride sharing video. What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Today we're going to be asking a question. It is somewhat of a slow news day once again. We're having an abbreviated live. But we're going to be asking the question, why are minorities that support the former president, number Trump, why are they so disliked? Some might even say hated. Now, obviously, we can talk about a variety of issues and concerns, hovering around the former president. But nevertheless, there are reasons to vote both Democrat and Republican. Pro-life, pro-choice, pro-Second Amendment, pro-common sense gun legislation, pro-police accountability. There's a hell of a lot of reasons to vote for both sides of the aisle. So why is there so much hatred or contempt for minorities that support number 45 over, say, President Biden? That's what we're going to be asking today. Now, we all have our answers, but I want to come and talk to the folks. I want to hear what folks have to say on both sides of the aisle. Is it just hammering President Trump unnecessarily? Maybe never giving a man a chance from day one? Or is it based on real issues concerning the former president that are worthy and legitimate to bring up? That's what we're talking about. As always, this program is and shall remain forever MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. Tap the screen. We can start it out. Get your boy up to 5,000 likes on this abbreviated live stream. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. Understand that. So when you come in here on what could be a controversial topic, why the hell are minority MAGA supporters disliked by so many? Understand you will never be banned, blocked, or censored, or even have your time limited for your opinion. And if you disagree with the host, nobody gives a damn. You get to state your point. Looking in the comments, right off the bat, Chuck Rank says, are you kidding? January 6th. Well, January 6th was not necessarily an issue for folks to have a reason to criticize minorities that support Trump. If you believe January 6th was a farce, was a threat to democracy, an attempted coup, you should have an issue with anybody that supports President Trump. But fair point. All right, looking in the comments again, I wish all politicians had integrity. That means all, not just Trump or Biden. Do we want integrity in this country? Let's just be honest. Do we really want it? It's a hell of a lot of politicians that have shown they lack integrity. And not only do we continue to keep quiet while they do some of the most unethical shit, they often get reelected. The late Marion Barry in Washington, D.C., caught smoking crack while on the job. Look at George Santos, the representative out of New York. Lied about everything, the entire resume. You could rip it up like Nancy Pelosi at a State of the Union address. Yet folks are not really calling for his ouster. Talking about McCarthy, the majority leader in Congress. Not even calling for the guy to be gone. So, do we really want ethical politicians? I'm going to go straight to the box. Appreciate you folks. Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 5,000 likes. Riding with Biden, says W. All right. We'll start it out. HVAC. Ivor. Program. Why do you think minorities take such flack when they support Trump?
Yeah, because because the media's lied about Trump and they say he's racist, they say he's this, they say he's that, but they don't look at the facts. The fact is, under Trump, there was the lowest minority unemployment. He created a ton of jobs for people. And it's them not doing the research, they're not doing the homework to see why they're saying he's racist. Because Trump, he's denounced racism over 30 times. So if they just take a closer look, and if someone says that he's racist, ask why. Like, what's their proof? Why are they saying this? And they'll find out. They get to the bottom of it. It's just the narrative they're following.
Well, I got a couple questions. First of all, in regards to folks who suggest Trump might be racist, the first question I have is, taking minorities, African Americans, and folks out of the picture, why do you think the racists seem to think he's racist. I mean, you got everybody from David Duke to Nick Fuentes speaking the praises of President Trump. So even if you get rid of minorities, why do the racists seem to think he's racist?
Right. I mean, that's a good. That's wait. If you're saying that a racist supports Trump, that ought to be
I don't know.
justification.
No. Well, first of all, what you're stating is also a way to look at it. Why are so many white supremacists singing the praises of this guy? Like, for instance, David Duke said not voting for President Trump would be a blow to the white race. Why would he say that? What the hell is he talking
Okay.
about?
Well, maybe because it's like you brought up pro-choice and pro-life. Pro-choice disproportionately affects the black community at a insanely high rate. So it's uh, you know that could be one of the reasons why. So that's a policy of the left. So I mean,
The,
um,
like the Nick Fuentes guy that showed up to his house with Kanye West. That guy is a known white supremacist.
right, but
I
they
can
showed up. I mean, yeah, I guess, but they showed up unannounced. But I mean, that's like the same logic as saying like, oh, if you voted for Biden, you're racist just because he eulogized at a KKK member. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you
you
can't throw the
stated
baby out with the bathwater.
hang on. You stated that they showed up unannounced, which leads to the obvious question. How do you show up to a former president with permanent Secret Service protection? How do you show up to his house unannounced? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly how that played out. I'm not going to claim to, but um, what do you mean? So Nick Fuentes is a known. I mean, I've watched him like, oh, yeah, never mind. I know what you're talking about. Again, would just because someone supports a candidate doesn't necessarily means that they take on the views of that candidate. Like that doesn't mean, I mean, I'm sure there's lots of actual racist people that want Trump to be president. That doesn't make Trump racist though. That line of logic makes no sense. But I could see,
I'm not saying that if a racist support Trump, that makes Trump racist. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just
yeah.
simply saying, why do this group of people seem to think he's on their side? You had a guy with a Kim Auschwitz t-shirt on at the rally on January 6th, and he wasn't even turned away. How does that look?
Well, I mean, again, you can't turn, people have the right to wear whatever they want. I mean, this is America. We have the freedom of speech and protection from the government. So, I mean, that's not going to be justification for, why or why not to vote for somebody. They could just like his policies. They could like the fact that America was going in the right direction. The fact is, racist or not, people want to live in a better America.
So, does it make sense? Let's say, for instance, an African American or a Hispanic, any minority. Does it make sense for them to see good in the same guy as the guy wearing the Camp Auschwitz t-shirt, and they're both standing at the rally side by side? Does that even make sense?
No, wait, say that again?
I'm at a Trump rally, being African American. I just like you're stating, maybe I see good in the former president. Maybe I think he is the guy to lead this country going forward. Right next to me is a guy wearing a Camp Auschwitz t-shirt. Does it make sense that we're both in the same line thinking that the same guy is good for both of us?
No, but also you have to think about it this way. Um, a tactic, and I would have to like get to the bottom of that, but a tactic used in politics is sending opposition to rallies pretending to be like racist or whatever. They do it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't really think. You might think it's a Republican supporting Trump, but man, dude, they've been infiltrated by the FBI. They've been infiltrated by bad actors. Like that's what these people do. Like they'll go and wear not a swastika and go to a Trump rally and everybody just to get the news attention. You know what I mean? So this is a tactic being employed for a while, and I don't think it's fair to Trump. Now, I would ask you the same on the same wing of that bird. If a black person supports Trump, how that would make Trump not racist, right? Because you're saying that if racists support Trump, you would wonder why, right? Well, then I'd ask
No,
you on the
no, I'm
flip the
agreeing
coin.
with you. I'm agreeing with you that if a racist supports a person, that doesn't make the person's that does not make the person racist. I'm just wanting to know
Exactly.
why would the person do that to begin with? What are those racist groups seeing in President Trump?
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's they could see. So under the Democrats, they're very like fascist and like anti like free speech. So I think that they're probably against that. I mean, if they are racist, they probably want to be able to freely project their views in America and be who they want to be or wherever. They probably don't even view themselves as racist. You know what I mean? So this is America.
Most
Like everybody,
you
huh?
make a good point. You make a good point because most racists do not view themselves as racist. I think I've talked to a few of them, and yeah, you very rarely hear somebody say, "Hi, my name is Tim. I'm a racist." Most people who are racist will tell you, "No, it's because of this or that, protecting the children, whatever the case may be." But you rarely hear people who actually are racist come out and admit it. So I do agree with you there.
Right, right. And I mean, just look at it's under Trump this country was thriving. We were doing quite well. Everybody's 401ks were sitting pretty. Now it's gone to shit. But if you're going to use that same logic though of and I know it's not you, we probably both agree, but I think the chat doesn't. If you were to say that someone racist supported a candidate and that made you would wonder about that candidate's policies, well then you'd also have to say that if a black person supported that same candidate, then you would also think that they couldn't be racist. So that logic, it makes no sense going both ways. So you just have to take a different approach, basically, in my opinion.
All right, fair enough. HVAC, I do got to move it on.
Yes,
Spirited.
sir. Yes, sir. I was happy to thank you for having me. I'm gonna drop you a follow. Always listen to me. I love what I love best about you, man. You're so nonpartisan. You really look at both sides and you think logically, and that's what we need more of in this country. So thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
Absolute. Flattery will get you everywhere. Come on back anytime. All right. In the box. By the way, if you do enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without any fear of being blocked, banned, or censored for your commentary, follow the program. We do this here Monday through Friday. And happy Friday to everyone. Looking in the comments, the same BS happened on January 6th was proven that FBI members posed as Trump supporters causing, well, in regards to the Durham report, if more shit comes out like that, hell, even yours truly, who leans left, I don't mind conceding a point. And based on the Durham report, I'm going to hold up the Trump was right flag on that particular event. I don't think January 6th will ever be the investigation into January 6th. I don't think that will ever come out favorable to President Trump. But I've been wrong before because the Durham report certainly did. All right, going back to the box. Tap the screen, get your boy up to 15,000. There is certainly 800 plus of you in here. You could be any damn where you want to be on this app. I always appreciate the fact that you are currently here. Moving on to Keisha Blue. Always a pleasure. Talking about why are minorities often hated, disliked, criticized when they support President Trump? What is it about President Trump that minorities suddenly lose their right to make a choice based on what they may think is a good candidate?
Before I get into that, let me go and get on you. Did you watch that FBI hearing yesterday?
No, I didn't. I had to work late,
Hold on.
unfortunately.
Do you remember telling me that nobody's gonna commit perjury? Okay. What did we find out yesterday?
What was lied about?
We found out the reason they lost their clearance and why they got fired, and we found out that guess who been giving them money?
Hmm. Well, but if you go by who, wait a minute. If you go by who was receiving money, that would hurt E. Jean Carroll, who just won against President Trump because she was getting money from a liberal as well. I don't know if the funding should matter.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Okay.
When two FBI agents that want to bring out the FBI was crooked are getting money from a Trump loyalist, is what we're going to call him. Because you said you lost your job and he felt sorry for you because you had children. Let's just be for real. Then the FBI sends Jim Jordan the letter of why those people were fired, and he said we ain't got to use this and try to act like he didn't get it. You got to go back and watch it, sweetie. Okay, now
But
let's get to the.
listen, let me make something clear. I'm not disagreeing with you that it looks shady as hell. I'm just saying what's good for the goose is good for the
Listen,
gander.
I
Because,
don't.
hang on, because E. Jean Carroll did the same thing. All of a sudden, she goes after Trump for sexual assault, and you find out she's being funded by an anti-Trump individual. I'm just saying it has to play both ways, right?
But what I'm saying is this: stop calling the FBI cricket when it comes to who you wanted to be cricket against. Not you. I'm just saying people, because now some people are saying, well, those men are telling the truth, but the FBI is cricket, but they came from the FBI.
Well,
So
let me
how
let
you
me
gonna
make something
say?
clear. Let me
How
make
you
something
gonna
clear.
say the FBI cricket, but these two men telling the truth?
Right, but
They all work for the
let me
FBI.
let me make one thing clear. Being African American, take Trump out of the picture. The FBI is corrupt, even before Trump was probably around.
I'm not saying they aren't. What I'm saying
Okay.
is you can't say some of them, you can't just say the whole FBI is corrupt. And then
Yeah.
when two people come to testify on something you believe in, now they telling the truth.
Okay. You
That's
make a
all I'm saying, my
well.
friend.
And I don't think anybody thinks the entire FBI is corrupt. I think it's the leadership that
Well,
people are
that's what the
contesting.
people say. They need to make it clear when they say it. It need
Yeah.
to be listen, because they throw more shade than a sunvisor. Now, let's get to the subject at hand.
All right. So we're asking, why can't you be African American and support President Trump? Now, I lean left. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm asking the question, why can't you do that without folks hating on you and suggesting that you're making a bad decision? There are reasons to vote on the right side of the aisle. Why
And I
can't
want
folks do that?
and I want you to give me the chance to answer this.
Sure.
Now, let me say this, and this is no shade to anybody in the white race. But white people cannot answer a question for minorities based on how they see it. And I'm just being honest because you're not a minority, so you don't know why a minority would vote for Trump because you're not a minority. That's all. That's just what I believe. I can't speak for white people on certain stuff because I'm not white. But let me say this. Some of our black people are very unaware of what goes on. They're very unaware of policies. They're very unaware of, they just see stuff at the basis and they go with it. And I'm going to tell you why I said this. When Trump came up and said he was going to do that tax break, I told a lot of my friends, why y'all so excited? Because y'all going to pay for this. I said, did you read the tax plan? Or are you just going by the fact that you finna get less cuts out your check? Oh, they were all excited. So now they blaming Biden for a
Yeah.
tax plan that he has not even implemented. Our people, and I'm just going to be honest, we don't research for real. We just go by what's on the surface. And the last caller said, well, they vote because unemployment was so low for the black people under Donald Trump. It was low for a lot of people under Donald Trump. So what's the big difference? It wasn't just black people unemployed.
But based on what you're saying, though, even though you're suggesting it wasn't just good for black people, it's good for everybody.
It was good for everybody that was
But
unemployed.
you're still suggesting, even though it wasn't specifically for black people, you're alluding to the fact that for jobs numbers, Trump was doing a good job.
It wasn't his. I'm not going to argue with you every day about this. I want you to put the chart up and give me one policy that Donald Trump implemented when he got in office that made that economy grow. If you can show me that, I'll stop saying it. Give
Okay,
me one
here's
Listen,
where here's
listen.
where you and I have a disagreement.
Go
You're
ahead.
suggesting, and I get a lot of guests that suggest that Trump is riding on the coattails of the Obama economy.
And he
Fine,
was.
let's go with that. Fine, let's go with that. But make it clear that if Trump got in there and he screwed up Obama's economy, we would be hammering him for screwing the economy up. So the fact that he did not screw it up means he deserves credit for
I'm
keeping
no,
it
no
going.
I listen. I'm not giving nobody credit for something somebody worked hard to do. And the people won't even give the person credit that actually made it happen. If they can't give Obama credit, I'm not giving Trump credit for not messing it up. But when Trump, and before COVID came, go look at the chart. The economy has started going up.
Oh, but think about what you're saying then. If you're not
Mhm.
giving Trump credit for the economy because Obama did a good job on the economy, based on what you're saying, the only grade Trump could get is a bad one. Because if the economy stays good, you're giving him no credit. If it goes bad, you're going to blame him. So you can only give him a negative rating. Is that fair?
Ain't that what they do to Obama?
But you're being
No, I'm asking a question. Isn't that what they do to Obama? They swear to God, the man has never done anything good for the country. Do you think I'm gonna be a fair person?
okay. I don't disagree with that at all
You
because
think I'm gonna be
Trump,
a fair person?
yeah,
And,
I agree
and
with you. I agree with that part 100% because
okay,
Trump
so do
takes
you
care of
think I'm
Jesse
gonna come
Martin.
out and let them say Obama ain't did nothing and then give Trump the credit for what Obama did? No, I'm not.
No, you can say exactly what I just said.
I'm not
Obama
gonna say that.
Obama left Trump a really good economy, but Trump didn't screw it up, so you got to give him credit for that.
Listen to me. I'm not doing that. And let me say this also. Because y'all said that Trump getting a lot of the black vote. Let me say this too. Our people, some of our people are people that want to be accepted into anybody that'll take them. You have some black people that go against black people just to fit in with the white race. You know
Mm.
how Come on now, you know how our race is. I'm not giving us credit for anything. We'll turn our back on our brother to pick up a white man just to be accepted because we want to have some kind of status quo. So, of course, we got some that's going to vote for Trump off of status quo because of where they want to be in life. Because sometimes when they get up there, they think they're supposed to hang with the very elite. So they look at white people more elite than some blacks. Then we have those that are just really ignorant, that don't understand policy, don't know what's going on. So they vote off because they think their check looked good.
But
And
you're not.
because
But you're making African Americans. When you say we don't do our homework, and like what you just said, you don't take policies. You're making African American voters sound ignorant. Are you suggesting that we're not smart voters compared to white people?
some of us are very ignorant. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we don't do, honestly, I'm sorry, I'm black. But we do not do a lot of research when it comes to certain stuff. And then we have those that vote based on how they believe religion really is when it's really not what they think it is. They vote because they think the Republicans are Christian people with Christian values because they kind of go against some of the things that they think the Bible says.
You're
And then when you
you're
look at, but think
you're
about
really
it.
you're really playing the fiddle that damn somebody likes the hell out of you, girl. You're really playing the fiddle of where folks suggest that blacks are just sheep. We just vote for Democrats because our parents. You're basically saying that black people don't even take the time to make sure they're voting for the right guy, and
Let
they
me
just
tell
do
you,
shit.
let me tell you the kind of black person I am. I am a black person that lives in reality. And I'm not just gonna act like we are all politically um politically informed. Let me say that. Cause I got a friend that come from work and tell me all kind of crazy stuff, and then I have to correct her. And I said, well, did you read that? No, but that's what they said. That's what I'm talking about. So
I know people like that. I got to move it on, but I got one last question to ask you. This is a big one. It's coming straight out of the comment section. Based on your opinion of the former president, number 45, President Trump, stating, I'm not going to give him credit because they didn't give Obama credit. Folks called you a racist in the comment section. How the hell do you handle that? I'll give you the mic.
first of all, black people can't be racist. Call me prejudiced if you want to. Call
Don't,
me prejudiced because
don't,
because the right race they made that up themselves is not really a race. So let me tell you this. I said what I want to say. I am not prejudiced, but what I'm not gonna do is keep on overlooking how y'all treated my president, the only black man that came in. Y'all dogged him out. to the fullest. You won't give him credit for nothing he did. And no, I'm not going to give the Band-Aid man any credit for anything that I didn't see him do. Whatever,
Band-Aid?
if he
What's
did,
a Band-Aid?
hold
Band-Aid?
on.
What's that? What do you mean by
Well,
Band-Aid?
because I told you Stormy Daniels said he was so small he could wear a Band-Aid for underwear. So I call him the Band-Aid man. Now, let me say this. I'm not racist and I'm not prejudiced, but what I'm not gonna do is sit up here and fake like I think he did a great job because I do not see it. I honestly don't.
All right, girl. I could host a show with you alone. I gotta move it on, though, Takesha. It's always a pleasure. Anytime. The door is always open.
Okay, sweetie.
Absolute, absolute. Band-Aid, man. No, I disagree with my last caller on one particular statement. Black people cannot be racist. I disagree with that. Whatever the definition you want to attribute to the word, I don't think really anyone of any background is excluded from being racist. We can talk about the history of the country and things like that, and one group being in power more than the other, and the amount of oomph behind the racism. Yeah, we can talk about all of that, but anybody can be a racist. Looking in the comments. Not in America. Fair enough. By the way, tap the screen. Over 1,100. Shit, some of these folks in here actually like what we're talking about. Get your boy up to 30,000 likes on this abbreviated live. We're going back straight to the box. Talking down to her own people, says Happy Hayes. Wow. She was right. I can't control anybody where they work or how they live. 100% true. We'll keep it moving. Go straight to JRP Music. Found my damn pen. Okay. Good afternoon, JRP. Why are minorities, just to get it on and popping, why are minorities treated with such disdain for simply supporting the Donald, supporting number 45? What is it about supporting President Trump that folks feel minorities should not do? Why is that?
It's because of the way that they want him portrayed. They want him to look like this huge bad man, obviously, and they're trying to make it so that way the minorities kind of I guess they demonize themselves by showing him support because they try to paint him this picture that he's such a bad guy and he's against migrants and he's against minorities and he's this and that. But I don't know. You got to understand something. With everything that's going on and with everything that's coming to light, a lot of the things that were said about him are not true, were not true, and never will be true.
Okay. Well, every president we've ever had will have things said about them that will come to light to not be true. I mean, President Trump stated Obama was born in Kenya. There has not been any light shed on that yet. So I get your point, but that's not unique to President Trump, is it?
I mean, in this day and age, it is a little bit, because you know damn well that they attacked him a little bit more than most presidents.
Well, but if you come to power and you promise the people, I'm going to drain the swamp, I'm going to name names and get rid of all of the people that don't belong here, wouldn't you expect that person to encounter more resistance and more attacks than normal presidents?
Oh yes, most definitely, yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Then it's not necessarily that people hate Trump more than the rest of them. It's that Trump came to power promising, I'm going to go in there and fight with everybody. And that's what has happened.
Yeah, but he has brought a lot of people's name to light that were not so good people. I mean,
Yeah.
he has exposed a lot of people, and you know what? As much as he's hated in this country right now, I mean, everyone's got to come to a realization that damn well that we wouldn't know exactly what is going on unless he shined the light on it, because he did shine a light on a lot of things that we didn't know were happening.
I don't know. I'll tell you this. Being African American, being a minority myself, in regards to your comment, we would not have known if Trump didn't shine a light on it. I would rebut by saying you would have known if you had to listen to black folks, because we've been talking about the FBI is jacked up for your entire life, and I don't even know how old you are. Your entire life, without even knowing your age, I can tell you that African Americans have been saying the FBI is corrupt. All of a sudden, when they did something wrong to Trump, lights came on in the eyes of folks who were telling us to go to hell for the longest. Why is that?
Because people, I mean, you know as well as I do, people are ignorant. As long as they're getting theirs and doing what they need to do, they're blind to everything else. They're tunnel vision. like everybody in America is tunnel visioned because if you got yours and you're taking care of you, it's like fuck the rest, you know. I'm doing me.
So, based on what you're saying, they got tunnel vision in regards to Trump's best interest. But when we were complaining, we fell under the umbrella of fuck the rest. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not really. I'm saying that like people, as long as it doesn't affect them in like their daily life, like to an extent to where it can actually, you know, change your life, people ain't gonna look at it because I mean that's like half the voters in this country. They don't care.
Well, I get that part. So, in other words, yeah, you're basically saying that when we were complaining, it wasn't affecting a lot of folks' lives, so they didn't give a damn. But they do believe having Trump attacked affects their life, so now they suddenly care. So, I guess at the end of the day, you would have to understand that when minorities are not jumping on that train, some of that might be due to the fact that you didn't seem to care when we were being attacked.
Well,
So you don't see where that could cause some backlash?
I totally get it. I was speaking more generally. Like, see, me myself,
Okay.
I've been awake to this stuff forever. I know exactly what you're talking about. I totally feel for like all the minority groups that go on and everything. But like with everything that's been pushed in front of us now, like there's more people that are waking up to it. And it, you know, it's sad that it took this to do it, but
Yeah. Because a lot of
nonetheless,
African Americans served their entire lives in prison. You're right. I wish they had woke up quicker.
yeah, me too. Definitely.
Yeah. So, but why specifically when minorities choose Trump, do you believe that is, you just said the boogeyman, that's all it is? I mean, for some reason, if you're a minority and you support Trump, you're going to be disliked even by a bunch of minorities.
Well, yeah. And there's a lot more minorities that support Trump than everybody thinks. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's still nowhere near 50%. He's done better than Bush. He's done better than Reagan. He's certainly done better than a hell of a lot of Republicans. But it doesn't matter who the candidate is with the letter D as in David behind their name. They're going to get more of the African American vote than Trump. Trump is bragging that he got 20, 30% of the vote, which is certainly more than zero. But in terms of getting 50% of the minority or definitely the African American vote, that's probably not going to happen, at least for Trump, at all.
No, probably not. I mean, if something were to come up more to where, you know, he did support him a little bit more and did a little bit more for them than he's already done, I'm thinking that it would change a little bit to a certain degree for sure.
Yeah. I got one other question before I move it on. Before Trump left office, he tweeted out a video of some of his supporters in Florida. And the first words in the video were a guy yelling white power. Now, he never apologized for that. Senator Tim Scott begged for him to take it down. We know Tim Scott is a Republican presidential nominee that happens to be African American. Trump finally took the video down, never apologized, never said why he put it up to begin with. I have to ask you, how do you see minorities viewing that?
Well, the fact he didn't apologize, that's kind of messed up. I mean, he should have at least said something. I'm sorry for that person in that video that said this. He should have said something along those lines. But me personally, I've never heard that video, but I'm definitely going to look into it. And I
Yeah,
think that
go on YouTube and type Trump tweets white power. I mean, you see the guy the guy yells it out. So it's not like it was something you wouldn't hear or was very quiet. It's the first two words in the video came from the presidential account, and it's pretty loud.
okay, yeah, I'll definitely look at that too.
Okay.
So
So you
what did
can see from that particular instance where someone might suggest there might be a little bit of intolerance coming from this president.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's possible with any president as far as, you know, race is concerned or whatever. But I mean, is it something that should be looked into? Maybe not, but it should definitely be
Is it
addressed.
something that should be apologized for?
I personally think yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. We agree.
Well,
All right, Jake. Last word. Go for it.
I was gonna say that it would definitely give him a little bit more support in the where he needs it.
Fair enough. Good talk. Come on back anytime.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Looking in the comments. Biden has said all kinds of racist stuff. Yeah, Daddy Pooh. Biden certainly had to vote for me. You ain't black. Obviously, we bring up Senator Byrd. Senator Byrd, by the way, there's a story behind that would let you know that In regards to Senator Byrd, he had certainly made up with the African American community. We talk about Biden being at his funeral. We don't mention the fact that Obama and Jesse Jackson were there also. So the Senator Byrd thing, it comes up all the time, but I do believe that folks bringing it up are being disingenuous, because look into that man's history and you'll understand that he had made up with the NAACP and a hell of a lot of minority causes before his death. But he was formerly in the KKK. He was a former KKK member. And we stop his history at the KKK and then tie him to Biden and say, see, Biden supports a racist. But we ignore the last part of his life that he had made up with the African American community. That's pretty easy information for you to find. You don't have to trust the host. All right, looking in the comments. The greatness of Trump is that he is not a politician. He is raw. That's why they hate him. Well, when Trump was elected in 2016, I agree 100%. He certainly was not a typical politician. In 2023, however, I believe that statement is no longer applicable, accurate, or even relevant. Point is this: you cannot be in your senior year of high school claiming that you're not a typical student. You go to high school, you've almost completed it. At some point, you become a high school student. Trump has served an entire term as president. In 2023, he is 100% politician. The idea that he's no longer a politician does not apply. He's already served a whole term as president of the United States. And by the way, you do not get to Trump's position of prominence in a city like New York as a real estate mogul without doing all sorts of politics behind the scenes. Friends with Rudolph Giuliani, friends with the Clintons, all of the big names, all of the big political names in Washington, Trump was friends with those folks. He was a politician before he was officially listed as a politician. All right, going back to the box, tap the screen, get your boy up to 40,000. Rainy Kane, appreciate your holding on. We don't want Biden either. That is true. A lot of folks don't. He's not a career politician. All right, then that's different. Neither was Obama. Obama's not a career politician. He didn't get the same label as that. Rainy, why is African Americans voting for Trump often disliked by other African Americans? But poor white people love Trump. All throughout rural Alabama, rural Mississippi, West Virginia, they love this guy. Why is that if he doesn't care about it? Okay, hang on, Rainy. Drop out and come back in. Everyone's saying they cannot hear you. I don't know why, because I can hear you loud. And I'll bring you right back on. Can you folks hear me, first of all? Can you hear me? I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I give it time. I'm reading the chat. Can't hear your guest. Okay, you guys can hear me. All right, now I'm going to try to bring her back on. I don't know what the hell happened there, but let's once again. Rainy. Let's see what happens. You guys let me know immediately when she comes through.
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear Rainy?
Okay. All right. Can you folks hear her? Okay. I seen one Obama quote. Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
there we go.
Okay. Okay. So ask the question again.
So the question I'm asking is, why, if an African American decides to vote for President Trump, they find themselves often hated by other African Americans?
And because we look at them like you're fools, just like the poor white people who vote for Trump. We see them, everybody is fools. Trump don't care about the poor people. And every one of us are poor in comparison to the people who he does care about. Trump is about the rich. And anybody who votes for this fool is crazy. He has not put any sort of policies that that help the lower 99% of this country. Not his tax cuts. You got $40 on your paycheck a pay period. $40.
But based on what you're saying, you would be suggesting that all of the the less affluent in this country, the poor people are ignorant, because certainly when it comes to whites, the overwhelming majority of disadvantaged Caucasians vote for President Trump throughout the South. Just about all of them are voting for Trump. So if you're saying he doesn't give a damn about them, are you saying that, poor white people are just not educated?
Absolutely. You have to understand a lot of this stuff, especially if we're talking about poor whites, is literally the I'm sorry, the woman you had on before this last caller, she was absolutely right. It's the bigotry on the Donald Trump represents white people.
Give
And if
me,
you
okay, what would make you say, because a lot of African Americans, he got about 37% of African American vote too. They voted for him. What would make you say he represents
he
white
didn't
people
get
when he's
30%
getting,
of African American vote, he got 30% of minority, which includes Hispanics, Asians, and everybody else that's non-white. That's
I
not
don't know about that.
30% black.
I think he did a little bit better than, okay, well, let's just say this. Why are the African Americans that do vote for him supporting him if you're suggesting he only cares about white people?
Again, it's the illusion. As I mentioned before, the Scarface illusion. Black people look at Trump as the rich guy on the block, right? It's the illusion. Nobody really wanted to be a coke dealer like Tony Montana and Scarface, but we love the illusion of this fool have power, right? So that's the way I perceive it. That's my opinion of black people. I mean, especially people who are not really politically involved, especially people who are not, they only vote for every 4 years. They just knew they didn't like Hillary for some reason, so you voted for Donald Trump. Whatever the case may be, it's an
So,
illusion, because
so
you
how do
can't
you
point to jack
respond?
shit that Donald Trump did for black people or poor whites either.
So how would you respond to someone like Tad in the comments that says the actual illusion is that Biden cares about people of color? In other words, Biden don't give a damn about us either. How do you respond to that?
Oh, I mean, I could just name you the shit that Biden's doing for black people, and I can list it off. If that's what you want me to do, I can.
I'm sure there's folks who are watching that want you to do that. Give me some greatest hits.
Greatest hits. Only president in U.S. history to have the lowest black unemployment in American history at 4.7%. The only president in U.S. history to give 10% of federal dollars to black-owned businesses, i.e., the infrastructure bill, which was $1.9 trillion. Black people, black business owners get the 10% of that. So 10% of $1.9 trillion, y'all do the math. The only president to give $6 billion to HBCUs a year, not fucking across 10 years. Pell
Let me
Grants, when he
let me
did the
ask
student
you.
loan forgiveness. Let me just say this one last thing. When he did the student loan forgiveness, he understood
Yeah.
where black people were going to be the beneficiaries. He said, "All right, I'm going to give Pell Grant recipients $20,000. Everybody else, y'all getting $10,000," because he understood more black people got Pell Grants, and so he was. Biden's been focused on black. His whole agenda has been black agenda, in my opinion.
But I
He's the most
have to
progressive
ask.
president in
I
my
got.
life.
I get, you have to understand that if what you're saying is true, where Biden has really been focused on African Americans, there are going to be some whites that think Biden is racist, because if Trump is focused on whites, as you're saying, we would call him racist. So if what you're saying is true, does that make Biden come across as being racist towards white people?
No, it just means that he recognizes the federal government has fucking shunned black people the entire existence of their lives. And he's the first president to actually try to right the wrongs of this goddamn government. And he's put more black judges on the courts. We got the first black woman on the Supreme Court. His whole cabinet has a whole bunch of black people. Not even Obama can match Biden's record. And he's the first black president.
So you brought up the low unemployment numbers under President Biden. Now, before Biden came along, you would agree that the unemployment numbers under President Trump were pretty good for African Americans too, though, right?
Yeah, but again, like your prior caller before this last was said, it was already low under Obama. Trump lowered it from 3.7 to 3.4. I'm sorry.
You
I'm
know,
sorry. Sorry. No. I'm sorry. I take that back. Trump lowered it for when Obama left office. It was 3 point. I'm sorry. 4.4. 4 point something. He lowered it to 1 point less. I'm sorry. It was 1 point less. That's what it is.
Okay. Does he get credit for then making a good
Yes,
economy? He
yes,
actually
I'm
did
not going
even
to
better.
take that away from Trump. Yes,
Okay.
he carried the baton. Yes. And I also wanted to just say before I left also because the woman before she was showing a point, and so if she's still here, I just want to tell her I so agree with a lot of stuff she was saying. It's kind of hard for me to sit here and suggest that Trump left this country in such good shape and somehow we should give him another 4 years. What we're going through, just like when Obama left the country in good condition, Trump was able to go on his coattails. Trump left this country in shitty ass conditions. It was an economic collapse when Biden came in. So we're dealing
Mm.
with Trump's shit.
All right. All right. Fair enough. Rainey,
You know
you
you
know
got
you're
other
always welcome
comments.
here.
I love you, brother. Have a good weekend.
Absolutely. You too. Happy Friday. All right. In the comment section. Somebody said Trump will get another 4. I promise. Don't promise, because tomorrow you'll be talking about the election was stolen. How many people felt confident Trump would have been the reigning president in the 2020 election? So don't make any promises, because we did the same with Hillary Clinton. We felt confident Hillary Clinton was going to win. So did RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Because if she had knew Trump was going to win the election, her ass should have retired, because she's part of history's Supreme Court justices. Looking in the comments, Biden's not racist against white folks. He voted to put Uncle Clarence Thomas on the SCOTUS. Uncle Clarence Thomas. Shit, he ain't my uncle. We don't want communism with Trump. Wow. She must not go to the grocery store or get gas. Fair enough. All right, before we keep moving, unemployment was almost 15% during Trump. You must be talking about during the pandemic, because unemployment was not that bad during Trump. It was nowhere near that, unless you're talking about some pandemic shit. All right, we'll keep it moving. The one and only Andy. Good afternoon, Andy. Welcome to the program. Why the hell would African
Hello.
Americans... I thought I saw 52 in there. We'll go to that next. But in regards to African Americans voting for number 45, why do African Americans take so much flack for that, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say anything on them because this isn't, I can't, like Takesha said, this isn't for me to speak on that. But I will say
Okay.
this. It's awfully odd that in a sea of white people, every time he had a rally, the 2 or 3 black people he had there, he put right behind him.
Well, that's politics. You would expect that, though,
Yeah,
right?
but like there was a comedian that went to a thing and he goes, "Yeah, Trump loves black people." And the comedian looked around and goes, "Show me one." Look, look, look. They found one guy. They grabbed him over. He said, "I'm not a Trump supporter," and snatched his arm and walked off.
Well, I've said this before. When it comes to Republicans courting the black vote, they don't really come to our areas. When you look at the areas that Trump holds rallies in, most of those areas are not very diverse. I mean, now
Yeah, because
Chicago
they don't
kicked
really
them
want
out.
to come to where black people live. And if they won't come to where you live and experience themselves, how can they help you?
Yeah. Well, he did try to
Now,
come to Chicago, and Chicago wouldn't let him in there. He did try to go to Chicago once.
well, I wouldn't. If I was him, after all the lies I've been told about Chicago, I wouldn't let him in either.
Yeah. He doesn't have. Yeah, he doesn't have anything good to say about Chicago. He never.
Now,
He never
let
has.
me tell you something real quick. Y'all said is Trump racist, and everybody was going da 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 da. Trump's daddy was arrested at a Klans meeting. Not
Wow.
once,
But you can't hold a
not
man
once,
accountable. Wait a minute. You can't
twice.
hold a man accountable for what his dad did, though, can you?
But I can tell you that I grew up with a racist father, and I had to unlearn it. So if you grow up with a man that's that racist, and he's in your house, it's gonna rub off on you. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see
And
that,
then
but
during the
I don't want to
issue where
hold
he
a
had the
man.
people in the building. Now, can I address the FBI?
Sure.
I've been dying. Okay, these people didn't, the FBI is horrible, horrible, horrible. Except for the 3 whistleblowers they were so excited about. Now, it's just like the election. When Republicans lose an election, it's stolen. When they win one, nobody says crap.
Well,
Why?
that's only
Why
a.
aren't any Republican elections? Why don't they like? Oh, something might have been wrong. We might have to check our election. No, they don't.
Yeah.
And they're always like, well, there's two servants of justice. Democrat politicians never get arrested. No, because Democrats get rid of Cuomo and the governor went off on a hike. We don't wait to be told. We evict you right on out of the party.
Yeah, I do agree that when you have corrupt Democratic politicians, the Democratic Party is quicker to get rid of them. I mean, that's mainly because we
Now,
got so many factions. Like the
I
Me
don't
Too
think these
movement
people
got
know
rid
who
of,
Yeah.
huh?
I don't think people know who Cash Patel is.
Who?
Cash Patel, the one that paid the three FBI agents.
No, I don't know who he is myself.
Oh, okay, ready? Buckle up. Cash Patel was acting Secretary of Defense under Donald Trump. He had worked on the National Security Council. He was going to be the active head of the CIA. At one point, Trump wanted to put him in the head of the CIA. And he was an aide to Congressman Devin Nunes. Now, do you remember who was on the plane with Jared when he came back with all that money?
No.
Devin Nunes.
So you're definitely saying this. There's a lot of linkages to this.
Well, I mean, they're going off their feelings and what they know. I'm telling you, I can put this person in this spot, this person in this spot, and this person in this spot, and it starts to add up as evidence.
So
I know.
you believe that the statement that the FBI was corrupt and went after Trump, which is coming out of the Durham report, you don't believe the Durham report, then?
No, because I read the Mueller report. And then on top of that, like I said, Jeff Sessions recused himself after being caught meeting twice with Kislyak. Jeff Sessions is the only person to ever keep his law, be able to stay a lawyer after he left Trump's employment. Think about that,
Yeah. No, I
because he
mean,
bailed.
yeah, a lot of heads rolled from the Trump's presidency. Whether Trump fired people or people wrote the Trump train and it led them to, like the Rudolph Giuliani's and the Sidney Powell's. A lot of folks lost their livelihood, and some of them even lost their damn freedom riding with Trump. So it is a perilous journey. But Trump himself seems to be, like the Teflon
Well,
Don. So he seems to be
yeah,
surviving.
right. And see, they're trying to make him look bad. Blah 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 blah. Well, I mean, Trump literally trolled Obama his entire presidency. I mean,
Yeah.
and talked about him, went on every talk show, did everything humanly possible, tried to make that man look like a legitimate president. They think we're going to spend all this time and energy just to make one man look bad. First of all, we don't care about him that much. They're the ones that worship him, not us. We
You
know
said
that
they,
a president gets out of office in 4 years and moves on.
but you said
Trump
they
has already.
You said they worship him. You see MAGA as worshiping Trump like he's a
Do
god.
you know who has a Bible? It's on Amazon.com, the Patriot Bible. Do you know Michael Flynn is baptizing people in the name of Trump?
Is that
I am
happening
not
for
kidding.
real? Are you for
Yeah, I'll
real?
send you some video. I sent you some videos already. You ain't looked at them yet. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
get a
for
lot.
real.
Baptizing people in the name of Trump, really?
Absolutely, they are.
I like to hear that. Oh my God.
Hey,
Wow.
where have you been?
Apparently, I have been sinning because I didn't know you could get baptized in the name of
The
Trump.
QAnon prayer that Michael Flynn says been a part of his family, blah blah blah. Yeah, that comes from a 1990s cult.
Is Trump even very religious himself to be
Not at
baptizing
all.
people?
According to Marla Maples, her family was very religious in her book, and she tried to take him to church several times. She tells the story on an Oprah Winfrey, and he just didn't seem interested at all.
Yeah, there's a video of Trump out there being asked, has he ever asked God for forgiveness? And he said no, not in his entire life. He's never asked God for forgiveness
And
even
see, you
once.
got to remember, Trump's daddy, when you ask about racism, Trump's daddy grew up right there beside Germany after Hitler.
Yeah, but I don't want to hold a man accountable for what his dad did. I mean,
Yeah, but
some
like I
people
said,
can.
if you grow up in a racist house, you it rubs off on you. I'm just telling you, you don't know how much I had to check myself and unlearn, and that's why most of Alabama has no liberals, because they don't want to check, realize
Yeah.
that they are playing exactly into that. And no,
Yeah, I
so
don't
I
I
mean,
don't disagree with
and
you
then
that racism, if you're taught racism, I don't disagree with you that it can rub off because we grew up during the time talking about myself during the time when homophobia was common. And it does rub off on you, but that doesn't mean you have to keep that type of mindset throughout your adulthood. So I
Right,
don't
but I'm
even
just
blame
saying
them.
for them to say how they know Trump and he wouldn't be that way, I'm just giving you some background so you'll know that there's more going on to this I feel crap. You know,
All
you
right,
have some actual facts to go with that feel. Because I can remember when Republicans used to call Democrats snowflakes and go, oh, it's their feelings. And now it's all about the deep state with no facts. Uh, you know, the whistleblowers were the only good FBI agents, and then yesterday they all got admitted they got paid by what is known as a Trump loyalist completely. He already, like I said, served with Devin Nunes. Trump was going to make him head of the CIA.
Mm.
You know,
Well,
this is
so what do
not
you
a
think? You
little
think
thing.
what do you think Trump's chances are for getting back in the White House? I mean, Biden has a lot of negativity
Um,
amongst his poll
I
numbers.
know a lot of Republicans, that even in the state of Alabama, that will not vote for him now.
Wow. So no chance, in your opinion.
Well, he was on stage in Alabama and he was going good. And then he told them to get the vaccine, and Alabama booed him off the stage.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before in another video of him telling people to take the vaccine. But Andy,
And,
I gotta move it on. Always a
all right,
pleasure.
but I just wanted you to know because when you were like, well, you know, how do you know? Because you equated it to the girl getting paid. That girl getting paid, somebody helping her is not like somebody that was in Trump's
Oh,
White House,
E. Jean
you
Carroll.
know.
Yeah, you talking about E. Jean Carroll.
Right. Yeah. That's apples and oranges because he was very politically motivated. Just like the last thing, the guy that made 2,000 Mules. Yeah,
Dinesh D'Souza, yeah.
I would make one for Trump too if somebody gave me a pardon.
Fair point. And yeah, I always believed Dinesh D'Souza was biased. I don't think anybody should look at 2000 Mules and think that's coming from an unbiased source. But Andy, appreciate you coming in here.
Thanks.
Absolute. Keep it moving real quick. Tap the screen. Get your boy over 60,000, 1,100. You could be anywhere you want to be. But you're rolling with your boy. It's always an honor. Thank you folks for hanging around, participating, tapping the screen, trying to get up to 60,000. Let your thumbs not be lazy. The program is and shall forever remain MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor you for your commentary. Fact that you might disagree with the host, what do I say? It doesn't mean a damn thing. So understand when you come in the box. If you have a difference of opinion from your host and every damn body in here, no one is going to censor you, block you, or limit your time because you got a difference of opinion. First Amendment, free speech rights reign supreme in here. Your opinion is just as valuable as anybody else's. So we don't censor it. Looking in the comments. MAGA nut. I don't know what that is, but keep it moving. Trump is racist, though. Wow. All right, we'll keep it moving right back to the box. Appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. The one and only 52 cent. Good afternoon and welcome the program. Did you change from liberal to what the hell did that say? To MAGA? No, I still lean left. But I do believe MAGA's entitled to speak. I don't think every individual that identifies as MAGA is the worst thing on earth. I do believe they're allowed to speak. That's what I had this for. 52 cents, talk to me.
He leans left, but we're slowly converting him.
All right. So what, I mean, obviously you're not a minority, but you do know minorities take a hell of a lot of flack for supporting Trump. Why do you think that is?
Because most of the African Americans all have historically voted Democrat
Why do you
through
think, why do
Obama
you
and
think that
everything
is?
else.
Why do you think that is that that African Americans keep voting Democrat, considering the Democratic Party was formerly the party of slavery, Confederate South? Why do you think we're now voting Democrat so damn much?
They keep saying that, but then everybody says, "Well, the party's switched." Da 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 da.
Do you
You know,
believe?
it's a group mentality. It's like, why do 90% of the transgenders in the Rainbow Society vote liberal? Because they need liberalism to do their liberal crap.
Well, based
You
on
know,
how you folks treat the LGBT community, I would counter by saying they need liberalism to exist. if America became a conservative country, I dare say the LGBT community would be outlawed. So they need Democrats to merely exist.
Well, they can go to Uganda. I guess they're getting along good there.
I don't know anything about that. But at the end of the day, you believe we vote Democrat for what reason again?
Because that's the way it's been since Obama, specifically Obama. I don't know how
Yeah,
much
we were voting Democrat a
Clinton
long
was.
time before Obama. Ain't nobody African American supporting Reagan or Bush. We were voting Democrat long before Obama.
Yeah,
No
I don't
idea
know
why.
what. I guess it's out of habit, or I don't know. But
Let me
you
let
can
me
honestly,
use.
if you
Go
can
ahead.
honestly walk outside your home with your debit card and go shopping, I bought a filet of fish meal today. I was in Michigan.
What's that? What's
51 cents tax. 50, they couldn't even get to 52 cents, but 51-cent tax on a
okay?
freaking Happy Meal. The sign out front, $14 an hour, now hiring. See, when they pushed to raise this stupid minimum wage crap, all they managed to do was push the prices up to where the minimum wage increase doesn't really make a difference.
I disagree with that 52, and I'll tell you why. If
The
you go
prices
back.
have went up too much.
No, I disagree with that because you don't have to eat that fish sandwich. But I'll tell you this. If you go back before the pandemic, under President Trump's watch, even with his job numbers and economy, if you look at the salaries under President Trump's first 2 years and you compare them to what they are now, I would dare say that the increase in salaries is significant enough that the inflation under Biden may not be hurting folks to that degree. I'm gonna tell you why. You got folks that are working at Burger King and McDonald's in some places making 19 and 20 bucks an hour that under Trump's first 2 years were barely making 10. Even though eggs and gas have went up, some people have seen literally a doubling of their salary. They can handle the inflation, which is going to be temporary, by the way. They can handle the inflation under Biden when they've had salary increases like that.
Well, it's going to only be temporary because before you know it, we're going to be using Chinese money. Because
Well, Chinese.
some hung low is going to be our president, and we're going to be screwed.
Yeah. Well, Chinese money spends though. I mean, there's places out there using American money and they're not suffering. I mean, it is what it is. If our dollar, ceases to become the dominant currency, that doesn't mean it's the end of America. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of free countries out there that do not have a dominant currency.
If the way that this minimum wage increases went up, on top of the inflation, on top of everything else, the gas going up affects every product we buy because it costs more to get it there. So if gas goes up, everything goes up automatically.
I don't disagree with that, but I will say this. Every time a president is elected, and when we don't like a president that is elected, we often paint a picture of America that is awful. When Obama got elected, it was going to be socialist Venezuela. Taxes were going to be 70%. Oh, no, they said socialist Greece under Obama because that's the country that was doing really bad back then. He was going to turn America into socialist Greece, raise taxes to 70%, take away everybody's guns. Gas was going to be $5 a gallon. None of that stuff happened. Now, under Biden, the economy has taken a hit, but I would submit to you, when you look at what happened last Thanksgiving, there was turkeys on every table. When you look at Christmas, the children got gifts. During the Super Bowl, people were watching big screen TVs and buying them. We are suffering under this economy. But it's not Armageddon. It's not the Great Depression all over again. So I will submit that people paint this picture that is far worse than what it really is. I mean, people are still walking around fat. I don't see my neighbor on their porch finishing off the last of their dog because they had no food. I'm not seeing it like that.
So you don't live in a Chinese neighborhood, is what you're saying.
No, I don't. No, I do not.
Well, move to a Chinese neighborhood. You'll see cats running in fear. There's no stray cats around a Chinese buffet. You ever noticed?
I don't know where you're going with that shit. Okay.
Well, somebody,
You sound like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino talking like that.
that was a good movie, by the way.
A good
But
movie.
anyway, but
But he
who has
came
been?
around at the end because he realized he was a fucking racist. Can we get
Oh
to the
yeah.
end of the? All right. All right.
You know, the only
Okay. I don't know what
people,
happened.
the only thing that's benefiting from all these prices going up is the government. The government's
No,
the only one
let me
benefiting.
say something. No, it's not. It's not just the government 52. There's a lot of companies that are using this economy to price gouge. There's a lot of places that are charging a fortune for shit that have no legitimate reason to do it other than we can currently get away with it. All of this inflation is not Biden's fault or the government's fault. Some people are just jumping on the bandwagon and charging more for shit because they can.
Well, when I pay 51 cents in tax on one little bitty lunch, that's a lot. That's a lot.
But if you're talking about taxes, that could be Governor Whitmer of Michigan doing that. That could be city taxes from the town. I mean, that's not Biden's fault when you're paying taxes on a sandwich at McDonald's. There's a whole lot of people got their hands in the pot when you do that.
Well, but it's everything. Gas goes up to 3.59 a gallon. The gas tax goes right with it.
Yeah,
The government
I
is
don't.
making money hand over fist because
Yeah,
all these prices are going up.
well, I don't listen. In regards to the government profiting, I can't totally disagree with that. I mean, they just gave us a hell of a lot of free stimulus money. They're helping out the Ukrainians. They got to get that money back from somewhere.
Well, there's nothing free. And they're
No,
giving phones now to all the illegals they're letting in, 30,000 a day or whatever the hell it is.
yeah,
It's
and that
ridiculous.
is a whole, and that's a whole different conversation. That definitely needs to be dealt with. I don't know if even putting Trump back in office can do anything about that because even under Trump, he was complaining about migrants and Middle Eastern men and trying to promote a 5-year prison sentence for anybody caught entering illegally. So it's not like during the Trump administration there was not a major problem with folks coming here illegally. It might have been less. The numbers may have been smaller, but there was a big problem with the border even under President Trump.
Well, there's been a problem with our southern border for decades,
Yeah.
but at least Trump tried to do something. Look at all
Yeah.
the materials that are sitting on the ground since Biden took over and quit any of the construction programs. They'd already bought all the material. It's laying there, rusted.
Well, and this is where I will give, even as a liberal, I will give Trump a unique amount of credit because I do believe when it comes to the border, the reason that has been historically bad is because both sides do not want to fix it. Liberals want these folks to come over here because they eventually turn into votes for us. The right supports big business. And big business loves these folks coming over here because they turn into cheap labor that can skirt the U.S. labor laws. Trump is the only candidate that has jumped up and said, let's do something about this. However, I said while he was in office, because he's the only one that really cares about this, the minute he is gone, doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat, they're going to start undoing the work that he's did because he's doing something that really none of Washington has a stomach for. Nobody else wants to do that. And he can only serve a max of 8 years. So even if Trump had been reelected, he would have finished the wall. He would have done what he wanted to do. In the minute he got out of office, they would have slowly started removing funding from the wall and removing security and all the money going to it because both sides want those folks coming in here. Ronald Reagan gave thousands of them amnesty, and George W. Bush is known for saying they will do jobs no Americans want. Both sides want those people here. So Trump is an oasis in the middle of a sea of border openness. So it's going to come back.
Well, Tara put 52 Cent needs to do some research on how things work. That was her comment. My comment is this. If you raise the minimum wage, everything that you buy that is produced or sold from those people with an increased wage is going to cost more money. In turn, with the stuff costing more money, it's going to cost more tax.
But here's
Everything
the
is
problem. Wait a
increasing the
minute. But
tax.
52, here's the problem. I've heard that argument. If you raise the minimum wage, the price of goods and services are going to go up and it won't make a difference. I agree that they're going to pass the cost on to the consumers. However, we kept the minimum wage the same for damn near 20 years, and goods and services went up anyway. So that's why you don't have a lot of liberals jumping on the bandwagon with your communists, because we all know whether they give us a pay raise or not, they're still going to find a way to charge more for shit. So give us our damn cut. You don't see that?
A McDonald's job is for a teenager. A
It ain't
McDonald's
just
job,
McDonald's. 52 cents. When we talk about going from a $7 an hour, $7.50 an hour minimum wage to $15 an hour minimum wage, everybody goes to, well, Burger Flipper don't deserve $15 an hour. Do you realize during the first 2 years of the Trump administration, when that $15 an hour minimum wage was really popular, how many people earned less than $15 an hour? We're not talking Burger Flip. We're talking certified nursing assistants, school bus drivers. The lunch lady at your school was making less than 15 bucks an hour. Folks in the back of the ambulance trying to save your damn life were making less than 15 bucks an hour. So when folks say raise the minimum wage and everybody goes to, well, that's a burger flipper, that's not meant to be a high paying job. There's a lot of people that had jobs that required a 2-year degree that were making less than 15 bucks an hour. Most factory workers during the Trump administration, during those first 2 years before the pandemic, were making less than $15 an hour. So it's not just burger flippers.
but if you take the job, you take the pay. That's on you.
No, it's not on the person that's dumb enough to take the pay. It's on all of us. If I can open up a company and I can find a bunch of idiots that are willing to work for less than they deserve, like you're talking about, 52 Cent would say, well, you took the job, it's on you. But fact is, those people that I'm cheating out of money, they all need to eat. They all need a roof over their head. So you know what they do? They take my low pay and then they go file for welfare or some type of entitlement to subsidize their low income. So at the end of the day, I'm not just ripping them off. I'm making you and all of the other taxpayers subsidize the extra money I'm collecting. You get what I'm saying? So even though they're doing something stupid, all of us taxpayers are subsidizing the fact that we're letting that corporation underpay them. So we're all paying for that. That doesn't make sense to me.
You know, the not the last caller you had, not the one with the southern accent, but I think it was an African American woman before her, was talking about, how did she word it? All the things that Biden has given to the black community. The giving money to the colleges, the
Yeah.
it was giving money, giving money, giving money, giving money. That's what the liberals base everything on. Give me, take me, hold me, squeeze me, love me. Get your ass out there and work for it.
I
Nobody's
don't
going to give
disagree
you
with that.
shit.
I don't disagree that you should work for what you get, but I do believe when you do work,
Hustle.
you should be properly paid. But 52, you know what I got to do? I got to move it on.
Now,
Appreciate you coming
usually
in.
you do your disclaimer after I talk, but you did your disclaimer this time prior to. So that's pretty good.
Hey, you know how. Well, sometimes I gotta let the audience know I got an interesting caller coming on. But come on back anytime. Come on
Have a
back
good day,
anytime.
Tim.
Hey, you too. All right, folks. This is an abbreviated live. I do gotta run back into the office, so I'm gonna have to stop this. I will be back on probably in about an hour or so, but appreciate you folks. 65,000 on this short live. Apologize for being short. Nevertheless, we don't ban, block, or censor anyone. Catch you guys later.